Good evening, y'all. It is Sunday, end of a week, and the beginning of another week in tomorrow. Let me open up with some words of gratefulness to the God of our understanding, who we choose to call God. God, thank you for another week. Thank you for restoring us. Thank you for lifting us, helping us. Thank you for just being who you are to all of the whole world. And we are grateful. I know I am grateful. And I thank you for everything that you are going to do for us, that you have did for us, and things that we can't even see you doing for us. And I thank you, my God, my God. Hey, y'all, I am Renee Williams. We're going to get right into it. This week has been a journey. And we're talking about, Friday we talked about addiction. And today we're on step 3. Hey, Daryl, we are on, good to see you. We are on step 3. And step 3, before I do that, let me give some shout out. Let me give some shout out to all the peoples that I seen on Facebook celebrating Clean Time. 20 years, 10 years, 18 years, 30 years, 40 years. I saw somebody at 40 years. Someone at 18 months, 6 months. Just for today. Somebody will come on here that just got just for today, celebrating 60 days, 30 days, 6 months, 9 months, year, multiples of year. God bless you. See, it's called a good thing when we can change our lives and turn our lives around and stop doing something that we was used to doing, being in that comfort zone. Shout out to the recovery houses, the therapists, the counselors, inpatient, outpatient. And see, I can say that because I was once in all of it. Inpatient, outpatient, and my life, has been, and your life has been a turnaround. And some people can't see it now, but if you just stay in the presence of God and work your steps, you will see and know what I am talking about. Thank y'all for praying for my daughter. Everything went good. My cousin Cynthia, everything went good. Slow process. Thank you for your prayers and things for my uncle. He's good. And we good. We good. So, I wanna just say for the ones that lost the loved ones like I did, through addiction, through overdoses, mental illness. Thank you for allowing us to love the persons that we lost and still keep living, but keep them alive. That's I keep my son alive. I miss my son. I know you all have mothers and brothers and sisters and cousins and nieces and grandfathers and grandmothers that you have lost, and fathers, through this addiction. And if you haven't, be grateful. I don't wish this disease on nobody. This disease is a silent killer. It will take you out of here if you continue to use and don't recognize that you have a problem. Hey, Robin, good to see you. Baby, always good to see you. Just been a busy week. I am so glad it's winding down. I'm just in a grateful for some decisions that I made or you made, and you know you made the right choice, that's a reason to be grateful. When they said that a grateful addict would never use, that's what it meant. And I was one of them grateful addicts. And I'm not saying the ones that relapsed or came back in and, that you're not grateful, but I'm glad you was able to come back in without dying in that disease. Okay, y'all, we are on step 3. Step 3, we made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we. It didn't say I. It says as we understood. This step is such an amazing step because you're doing 3 different things in this step. 3 different things. You done settled down. You done had a ruling awakening. You done got a connection with God. You understand the steps. You made, I made, we made a decision to turn our will, just our will. I'm going to stop right there. Just our will. We made a decision, so you did something mighty great. We did something good. We did something that we hadn't done in a long time. And that recognized that we have a problem. Recognize that we got to turn something over. Recognize that we can't. We just can't. We can't continue to use because our life was going down a sparrow road. And we had to come to some kind of determination that we have messed up. Hey, Cheryl, good to see you, honey. We have messed up. And I like to talk about that because I'm going to tell you something. We all messed up. Ain't no perfect addict. Ain't no perfect user. We all have burned some bridges. We all have made some mistakes. We all had to make some U-turns. We all had to come to a decision that we must turn our will. What is our will? Well, everything we was doing, we did it on our own self reasons. We act like we didn't have no accountability. We act like we didn't have no troubles. We act like we was okay. We was comfortable. But when the pain got great enough, when the pain get great enough, see Cheryl, hey baby, good to see you. I hope you're feeling better. Be glad when we can see you, honey. When we turn and make a decision, something happened. What happened? We recognize that we can't do this. Hey, Mike, good to see you, Mike, my friend. We made a decision. I love this step because it's a 3-part in one. I can't. He can. So I let him. That's what this step is saying. Now when we made a decision, I'm talking about a serious decision. I ain't talking about giving it, making a decision, and taking it back. I'm talking about making a decision for longevity. We all know what it is to fail. We all know what it is to be broken. We already know what it means that we done messed up. We need to restore some things. We need to make a decision to turn. And I like that it says to turn. Turn means turn it around. Our will and our lives over to the care of God. Why must we do that? I'm going to tell you why we must do that. We've been used to doing it our way. We've been used to messing up. We've been used to hitting rock bottom. We've been used to not being closed in our right minds. The disease of an addiction. I hate this disease of an addiction because this disease of an addiction is very tricky and is very baffling. It's very cunning. It tricked us. Hey, Sandra, good to see you, honey, all the way from Mississippi. It tricked us. It made everything think that we was going to be okay. We was fine. We just got a little problem. You know, the little drinking and then one drink led to months of drinking, years of drinking. Drugs last till you started off one too many and 1,000 is never enough. When they say that, they know what they saying. So we had to get to a point in our lives that we playing jeopardy with our lives. We getting to the point to where everything is falling apart. Relationships, our boundaries, self-control, impulsiveness, doing it our way. But I found out that when we turn and make a decision, that means we ready. That mean I was ready. And I know y'all had to be ready because I know most of y'all on here got clean time. I know everybody who comes on here got some clean time or is in the midst of working on more clean time. We did something. And I thank God that I was in my right mind. Y'all was in y'all right mind to even notice that you had to make a decision to do something different. Well, what happens when I make a decision, Renee? Mountains move. Things start changing. Hope being restored. Giving him everything. Every problem, every situation, every drug, every behavior, every impulsiveness that you, come on, this step is very powerful because it does something to me when we got in the step. 1, 2 did something to me. It made me recognize that I can't use no more. It made me realize that. And my whole understanding about this disease of an addiction was messed up. I had no idea that I was carrying this disease, that I wasn't taking nothing to help control it. You gotta get the help that you need. Because when we getting the help that we need and our loved ones and somebody else is still out there in the world and still using, they miss something. But we still have to keep them prayed up. But if they miss something, and that let me know that it's still doing what it's doing out there, and we still losing souls to addiction. I take addiction very seriously. My life, your life, was so overwhelmed with stress, anxiety, depression. Now, if you didn't go through that, then this don't apply to you. If you didn't make no mistakes, if you just was a good addict that never hit bottom, that never made no decision, never paid your bill, you always paid your bill, well, you a good one. Because I didn't pay my bills. I didn't wash my butt. I dressed up, but I didn't clean up. The addiction got so great to where we wasn't even ourselves no more. I can talk about me. I always talk about me. I lost me. We lost us. in the streets. We lost us. We was searching for something that we had no idea what we was looking for. All we wanted to do was get high. So this step saying that I can't do it. God, I'm at the turning point. We at the turning point. There's something got to give. You know, I need to do something. I need to reach out to somebody and get some help because I'm falling. I'm falling. Anytime that you start doing things out of the ordinary, anytime you give your life to drugs and alcohol, you have no life. I didn't have no life. I thought I did, though I thought I was living. We think we be living good and keeping up. But, you know, I found out once I got some encouragement and once I got some hope back that all my friends disappeared. And that was okay because I needed a new set of friends. I needed a 12-step program. I needed a Narcotics Anonymous program. And I found a whole bunch of friends in that program. And these friends done changed how not to lie. They done changed not to hurt. They done changed how to work on themselves. They done changed to endure whatever they need to endure, but never go back and use again. Because the pain will get great even when you recover. Yeah, pain will get great even when we're in recovery. But we found a solution how not to use no matter what happens in our lives. And then it says we sat down and we thought about it and we was hurting and we know that if we didn't turn around, we would die in the world of addiction. So we get to a point and we tell God, I can't no more. God, I just can't. I can't do it no more. You know, help me, God. I need your help. I'm stuck. I'm in a crisis. And I don't know how to get out. So that's when we take and make a decision. We're in a crisis and we know that the God of our understanding and the 12-step program is the only thing that can work for us. Because everything else we tried, it did not work. Had no peace. For the first time in my life, and I'm 65 years old, the first time in my life I got some peace. I ain't got to worry about nobody hurting me, or if they do, I know how to deal with it. I ain't got to worry about being depressed. I ain't got to worry about having anxiety because things didn't work out the way I wanted to work out. You know, hey, this step right here told me that I can, he can, so be willing. Let him. But when I got this step, it was more than that. This step was telling me, Renee, ain't you tired? Ain't y'all tired? Ain't y'all tired of lying? Ain't y'all tired of being around phony people? Ain't y'all tired of hurting yourself over and over again? Ain't you tired of falsifying and acting like you this and you that and you don't even know who you are? Ain't you tired? Ain't you tired of understanding that you making bad decisions over and over again, going to dangerous places that you know you shouldn't be? Ain't you tired? Ain't you tired? Ain't you tired just trying to fit in with the people that don't understand that they are addict yet, or don't understand that they have a problem, but you understand that you got a problem? Ain't you tired yet? So when we get to this point to say we can't, I can't. No matter what I'm going through, or no matter how I stress out, no matter what child or what man or what husband or who I lost, using ain't gonna bring them back. God, come on, God, come in. I just, you know what? I knew you was always there. I was brought up with you. I was brought in the house to love God. I was brought up in the house that, you know, in this house we serve God. In this house, I was brought up like that. but then we stray away, and then we get, we think we having fun, and we get with the wrong peoples, and we start just putting anything in our body to take the pain away. That's what I did. I don't know what y'all did, but I know I drank myself to death, and I can tell that I drank myself to death because I lost a kidney due to drinking. And I could have lost something else. It could have been worse than what it was, but because of our using and because of our betraying our own self, and because we was giving drugs the rope to hang us, we had to accept some accountability. And when we made a decision, that's what we did. We started taking accountability. God, I can't do this. You know what? I'm tired of sitting on the bus and I had a car, but now I'm on the bus and I don't have no money. How I'm going to get home? I done pawned my car for a little bit of nothing, and I worked hard to get that car. Am I tired yet? Are you tired yet? Hey, Dex, good to see you. Hey, Michelle, good to see you. Are you tired yet? What is it going to take? Is it going to take a heart attack? Is it going to take a stroke? Is it going to take you losing your mind to turn and make a decision that can be life-changing? Do you know what hitting rock bottom really means? You're at a standstill. You're in a place in your life where you don't even like your life. I know I didn't. And I came to a point to where I was tired of staying broke. I was tired of stealing. I was tired of going to jail. I was tired of being in jail. I was tired of health problems. I was tired and still trying to smoke. Powerless. That's why we got to this point to realize we can't no more. That's why we had to make a decision, a most powerful decision that we would make in our lives, to say, God, I'm ready. I'm tired. I've been smoking half of 65 years. And y'all know how long y'all been using and smoking, and we get to the point to where we just can't do it. I can't, God. You know what? You done been with us. You done rolled that roller coaster with us, even when we was in the use of our using, or we was drinking out of our mind. We have to make some steps in our lives. Stop trying to please everybody. Stop trying to do what everybody wants you to do. Stop trying to be what somebody else think you should be. Be what you ought to be. Be what you work to live to be. And that ain't using drugs. You got to let drugs go. You can't do that. I don't think about drugs. But sometimes when we made that decision, I took it back. But that last time I didn't take nothing back. It was all gain. It was all gain. God, I can't do this. You know what? Look. Let me tell you a story. Let me tell you of a child. Let me tell you of many children. Let me tell you of many lives that didn't even know nothing about drugs. And then all of a sudden we was introduced to drugs. And all of a sudden we depended on drugs. All of a sudden it took over our lives. All of our the best qualities that we had in ourselves, we lost it. God, come on, Renee, and I can't. I just can't. I can't go back. I can't go back. And Satan want us to go back. That evil spirit want us to go back. He want us to die. He want our soul. So if I can just, make you keep using and advance and talk to you and let you know I'm your friend. Hey, I don't want that no more. That type of friend I don't want. I just know I can't. So now I'm to the point to where now I got to turn everything over. My thinking, my fear, I need to turn it over. I need to make a decision to turn our lives over to somebody who cares. Somebody that always cared. Somebody that always had our back. Somebody that never gave up on us. So when everybody else gave up on me, when everybody else gave up on you, the God of my understanding was still there. Just waiting till you to make a decision to turn your life, my life, over to the care of God. Why do we need to do that? Who you think wake us up in the morning? Who do you think allow us to have a destination of what we're going to do for that morning all the way to that night? See, I understand where I made my mistakes at. On self-will. You're doing it my way, trying to sabotage. Every time something go good for me, I sabotage it. And I was used to it. We get used to sabotage. We get used to disappointment. We get used to failing after we try so hard to do something. We get used to that. We get comfortable in that lifestyle. And see, God already knew we was going to get to the point that we had to make a decision. That's how cool he is. He already knew we was going to get so wrapped up in this disease of an addiction that he already knew that we was going to get to a point sometime or other to make a decision and stand on it. Make a decision to stand on something. Mean no matter how great the pain get or how bad the expectation you had, using ain't gonna do no good. And once I understand that if I use, I'm in trouble. If I use, I'm gonna stay broke. If I use, I'm gonna be out there in the streets. If I use again, because see, I was a runner. We were runners. Many of us was runners. We always ran from something. We was running from something, trying to find who we were. And so when we made a decision to do something better, to better our lives, what was that going to cost us? Now, I can tell you what it cost me, and I can tell you what most of the people I know would have cost them. It had cost them a little long life, a little more jeopardy in living. So you can see the harvest of you not using. See, I see the harvest of everything I thought I lost was a material thing, but the most thing I gained was finding me again, finding you again. That's the most gratefulest thing that I can imagine that came out of working these steps, is that we found who we are. And then when we start finding who we are and looking at who we are and making better decisions, now I can sit down and make a decision and to turn my life. If y'all ain't never hit bottom, you can't even fathom what I'm talking about. If you ain't never slept in a garage where it's pitch black, if you ain't never sold yourself to somebody you didn't even know, if you ain't never been homeless, when you on drugs, you do all of that. Your accountability of having your right mind isn't your mind. You know, I always say when I found out the 10%, just 10%. What? I had to look that up. 10%? So where did the other 90% go? My sponsor said, you gave it all to the drug. You became everything that drug wanted you to come. That alcohol wanted you to be an alcoholic, to be a drunk, and didn't get your life together. And then you became the dope. You smoked dope. you lived dope, you thought about dope. That's the truth. That's what I did. I don't know about y'all, but I wake up in the morning trying to figure out who I was going to hurt or who I was going to use to get me some money, because I done blew my check and now I'm selling my stuff and it's bad now. But through it all, no matter what we went through, he never left us. That's why we was able to sit down and make a decision and go in treatment and find some hope and turn our lives around. We made a good decision for the first time in our life that we knew we had to keep. And so far I've been keeping mine, because I'll never go back to using again. That's out. You're just gone. The way my life have grew, the way your life will grow, the way, you know how you take a flower and that flower is dying, and then it's slowly dying. You know, a flower slowly die when you don't give it water, don't give it sun. So all of a sudden, when you start watering it and start caring for it and start making an effort to go to that plant to give it some water, what do? It start coming back to life. Sure, slowly but surely, it's coming back to life. And that's what happens with us when we made a decision. We kind of let God take our lives. We kind of said, God, you know what? Here it is. You right. I'm wrong. I'm playing Russian roulette. I can't continue to do this. So let me sit down and get me some help. Let me analyze why I got a problem so bad. Why am I so hard-headed? Why can't I get it? I just couldn't figure out why I couldn't get it. I didn't try. I didn't go out. I didn't pick up a phone book. I didn't reach out to nobody. I stayed stuck in my disease within myself. So when we get to the point we made a decision, we don't want to take control no more. We want to give it away to somebody that's going to handle it very gently and is going to help us along the way. He's been watching us and babysitting us for the longest, even when we was out of character, even when we was, doing the things that we was doing, he still had our backs. So when we made a decision, we get to the point to make a decision, that's telling God, you know what? I can't, God, no more. I've been messing up. I've been taking back my will and then give you back my will. Then I take it back again. And then I start doing good for a while and then I go back to again. But this time, God, I'm making a decision to do what's right. For me. I can't control nobody else's destiny. I can't control nobody else's recovery. But I sure enough can control mine. And you sure enough can control your own recovery. What works for somebody else might not work for me. I found that out being in recovery. The way somebody else work their problem, long as they ain't using, let them work their problem. Let them work their situation out. My way was different than some of my friends' way. Some of my friends didn't have to go to meetings. They didn't have to do 90 meetings, 90 days. But that wasn't, that was their process. I had to do what was going to benefit me because, see, I was hard-headed. I thought that God loved me so much that he would continue to allow me to use, and I lived until I started hearing that people had died. Till I understood that people was dying of overdoses. And it caught my attention. I wasn't ready to die. I wanted to see the change. So when we make a decision to turn our will, you know what your will is? Everything that you want to do. Because, you know, you can't keep wanting to do something your way and think it's going to turn out. It says turn our will. And we had so many wills in our lives when we was using. You know, it's my will to get high. It's my will to sell this. It's my will to lie to you. It's my will not to be honest. It's my will to not pay this bill. It's my will to pay that bill. It's my will to let that bill get cut off or lights get... and you know, my will wasn't working. It just wasn't working. My will wasn't working at all. So I had to find something that was going to work for me. And what I found for me was I needed to turn my will over to God. He got the answers. He created us. He know how we think. He know what we thinking. And I had to get to that point of saying, God, you know what? You know, I'm tired. Have you ever been tired of being tired? I'm tired. I was tired. Couldn't sleep. Up for days. Done pissed all on myself. Done hurt myself. You know, we did some crazy thing when we was using. I think I told y'all, you know, I did some crazy thing in the use of addiction. I lost me. I didn't understand me. I lost me a long time ago, and I know y'all lost yours. I know you lost yourself because I see y'all at the meetings. I see you on here. I know y'all had to lose yourself because we finally found a reason to live. And when you find a reason to live, then you'll make that U-turn. So I made a decision. You made a decision. We had to. And why was this important to make a decision? It's very important that when you living wrong and not doing right, it's very important to make a decision to turn it over to somebody that can take care of you. Somebody that can handle everything. You know, somebody, if he can handle the whole world, he can handle everything. And I had to get to the point to realize that, God, I'm a mess up. You know, I'm just, you know, I just need to tell you that I'm sorry. I can't do it no more. I need you to be my backbone. I need this program. I need this NA program to help me, to guide me, and to show me, you know, all the things that I was doing wrong and what I can do right. It ain't easy making a decision. Not when you're in the midst and you far gone in addiction. It's not easy to make no decisions. I ain't gonna lie, we baffle with us. We the worst person to baffle with in our own mind and in our own thought and in our own head. You know, we play Russian roulette in our heads. You know, and it ain't easy to make a decision. That means I gotta let all my friends go who I think partying and who's doing good, and that's, you know, I gotta let that go. You know, it ain't easy telling another individual that you're an addict. It ain't easy telling another individual I tried to take my life last night. It ain't easy telling somebody that I had got raped and you know, the pain got great, so I kept using. I couldn't get that thought out of my head. You hurt me. You devoured me. You didn't protect me. You know, I was my mind would be racing. You know, I'm an overthinker. I used to be. I take that back. I ain't taking on nothing that was in my past that I know that I have changed. I ain't doing that. I used to be an overthinker. While you sleep, I'm still high, still drinking, and still thinking. Still crying, still praying to God in the midst of me using. A praying addict. A dope fiend. They call me a dope fiend. They call me a crack addict. They call me an alcoholic. And I was every bit of everything that they said. But guess what? It didn't last long because I made some decisions, or we made some decisions to turn our will over to somebody that was more important than me. that I knew that was going to help me. And sure enough, y'all, I'm telling you, when you get to a point that you can sit in a corner all day and get high, you're lost. When you can drink and get high all day and you never have a time to sleep, you're lost. When you've been doing everything that you know that is wrong and been hurting people and hurting yourself and doing things and getting out of your lane, you're lost. I ain't never seen an addict that wasn't lost. Let me tell you this, what happened yesterday. I was in the grocery store. And this guy, he didn't have no teeth. And he kept stopping these people, asking them about this big old steak. And I noticed what he was doing. He was trying to get him a girlfriend or trying to get him a woman. And I said, God, don't let this man, because that lady wasn't paying him no attention. Then he went to another. Then he came to me. I said, God, if you let that man come to me, I'm going to let him have it. And as soon as I said that, he brought this big old steak. He said, well, I like this woman, and the other steak that I bought, she said it wasn't big enough, and so I went and bought this big old steak, and I'm gonna cook it and make her, and his breath was off the chain. Teeth missing, you could smell the alcohol. And all while he was talking, I had to remember, this is why, God, I made a decision to turn my will over to you. This is exactly why I made a decision. Because I had to look dumbfounded too when I would steal food and go and try to sell it to get another hit or a drink. And so when he was talking, he was saying, I said, but what makes you think that steak is going to still let you get that woman? He said, girl, check what he said. He said, well, I do like meat. I knew exactly what he was saying because I'm full of meat. He was saying, I like them heavy too. I like meat. The God of my understanding had to set in. I said, God, now I know why I made the decision. I know why I made the decision to turn my will, everything over to you. Because I just saw another me. That, I don't know if my breath was stinking. Ain't nobody never told me my breath was stinking. But I realized right then, while we turn our lives over to the care of God, we do some stupid mess. And he said, well, you got a man? I said, look, dude. I said, look, I done watched you go to 3 women's. You aced out. You definitely finna ace out with me. And he said, wow, I said, look, I'm finna go. I said, you know what? The God in me is telling me to walk away. And I told him just that. I walked away. Then he said, thank you, ma'am. I said, you're welcome. Sometimes when we had to make a decision was just the things that we run into. And sometimes the wreckage of our past will come back in somebody else, and we don't know that was coming today. We didn't know that was going to happen today. Who would have ever thought a man was going to come to me and try to talk to me with a big old steak in a big old, whatever you call it, with the bone in it, big old steak. And when I got to myself, I said, God, I said, you know what? You still always working on me. You still always working on me in the midst of my thinking. Because as he was talking, I said, ooh, his breath. Oh, I said, God, let me. I felt sorry for him. You could smell the alcohol. He was lost, just like I was lost. You know. And I said, God, please help him. Just help this guy. But right when he came to me, I knew then why I made many decisions to turn our will over to the care of God. You know, I'm telling you, you're bankrupt in our mind, never having no peace, never having, can't sleep. You know, I think about all the times where I couldn't even sleep. I think about all the times where I stayed up for 2 or 3 days, never touched a bath rag, you know, never got no sleep, always lying, trying to get another one, you know, and then, and you think that as soon as I get a chance to find my way, to come back to life like that flower did, that I wouldn't make a decision, or we wouldn't come to the point in our lives to make a decision to turn our will and our lives over to God. Okay, God, if I turn my will over, then that means you got my life. That means you the head of my life. If I'm turning my will over to you, that's saying he can. He can do all the possibilities that I thought that couldn't be done. He can. He the one that can make the change in me. He the one that can fix, manage, and control some things that are happening in my life for me to gain some peace. Only he can. Because if I look for it from man or woman, I ain't going to get it. So now I see why we make a decision to turn our will and our lives. So when we turn our will over, then we turning our life over. Then we know things is going to be better. You know, situation that we thought we couldn't got out of it, we got out of it, didn't we? The things that we think that we couldn't see no way getting out of that, we got out of it. He brought us out of it. So everything, now I understand why I had to turn my will, because my will, it wasn't working out. I didn't have enough tools. I didn't have no recollections. I didn't have no meaning of what this disease was. You know, all I do is just smoke it. I didn't study it. I didn't figure it out that this was a disease. I didn't understand. Every time I didn't have no money, them urges for a drink, them urges for drugs kept lingering in me and kept wanting me to go out there until I came into the 12 Steps of Narcotics Anonymous program. It was an eye-opener. And when it says we made a decision, for the first time I made a decision that benefited me. I made a good decision. You make a good decision when it's benefiting you. When you stop doing the things you've been doing and stop drinking and stop lying and stop stealing and stop perpetrating. Hey, Latrice, good to see you, baby. Perpetrating. That's all we did. We were good liars. If we had got paid for every lie we told, we would be rich. Because, I told so many, I can't even count them. I had got so good in lying, I didn't even know when I was telling the truth. That's why we got to get to a point to realize we got a problem. And to realize that we had to make some decision to fix the problem. So when we made a decision to turn our will in our life, I like when it said in our life. What? God, we giving you that? You can? Let me let you do that. As we understood him. Let me let you do that. I'm going to trust you. For a chance in my life, I'm going to take a chance on my life. I'm going to get into the 12-step program. And I'm going to work the program. And I'm going to see is it everything that they said it was. And I'm going to see if I can stop using. I'm going to see if I can get some help with the urges to keep using. Okay, God, I'm going to see. But honey, now I done got some years in. And I was willing and ready to make a decision to turn my will and my life. life. Because see, if you turn your will over, he already got your life. Because turning something over and giving it to him is his anyway. But it's so wonderful that we made the decision. Not him. He wanted us to make a decision. And that's what I love about this step. He didn't make us. He talked to us, but he didn't make us make a decision. He wanted us to have free will to do it on our own. Okay, all right. Okay, this step says, okay, I'm gonna see. It's an eye opener. When I looked at this, it was an eye opener. I said, what? I see God on this page again. God is everywhere. Every time I get in this book, God is in this everywhere. Everyone I get in the blue book, I get in the green book, I get in all the books. What? God is everywhere. So when I realized that the same God I was praying to when I was getting high, he never left. He never left me in the midst of my disease and even in the danger zones that I was. So when we made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care, listen, over to the care. Care means he gonna take care of it. Care means he gonna work it out. Care means he got your back. Care means no matter how bad it look, he gonna carry you out. He gonna protect you. He gonna carry you. Long as you give him your will and turn your will over to him as we understand him. That's a powerful, it's like, I can't, okay, I can't, he can, so let him. As we understand him. And well, I tell you what, as I understood him, that he's a God that don't lie. He's a God that everything he say to you, he stand on his word. He ain't like most of us. Most of us was liars. Most of us was cheaters. Most of us was everything but what we were supposed to be. But he never gave up on us. And I love that about this man. You won't lose with that. So when we made the decision, when I came to a part, when I liked it when he said, when it says the will and of our lives turning over to the care. Look, y'all. Turn our will and our lives. That's deep. I don't know if you know it or not, but it was deep to me because what you were saying is no longer mine. Once I turn it over to you, I'm telling you that I don't want to mess up no more. I'm telling you, take my will from me. Take it. You can have it. Take my will. Because my will gets me messed up. My wills mess me up so much. Hey, Miss Maddie, good to see you. Love you, Miss Maddie. Good. My will was messed up. And when they said this, step 3, turning our lives over to the care of God, that means we shouldn't have to wonder no more. We shouldn't have to fear no more. We shouldn't have to be running no more. We shouldn't have to be lying no more. We shouldn't have to be everything that we that no more. Because if I made a decision to turn my will over to the care of God, then that means I ain't got to do no worrying no more. He got it all. He gonna take care of it. And that's what I got out of this step, so I'm going to let him. I understood what he said, and I understood the connection that I had with God, and I understand him even more when I'm by myself and alone, how God can connect with you and talk to you and show you things he'll show you some things that's trying to get in your way. He'll show you some things that people's trying to get up under you because, everything that a person trying to do to you ain't good. So when I turn my will and my lives over to the care of God, as we understand him. And I like when they put that we in, because what that last part is saying is that you understand God the way you see God. I got a relationship with God, and I have to use God with my recognition of how I understand me and his relationship. See, I know God had me, people say, well, we all got relationship, but it ain't like mine. When it says we understood him, when it says I got to understand the God I'm talking to and dealing with, you might understand God the way you want to understand God. But I can't tell you it's the wrong way or the right way. Long as you ain't using it, must be the right way. So as it says, the care of God as we understood. So I took that we means we all got to go through that process. We all got to go through that. We all got to go through that journey. You cannot work a program and not stay in it. People get in the program and they go back. But sooner or later, if God allowed them to come back, I've seen them take that one time using and been clean 20 or 30 years. You get to a point in your life that you tired of beating yourself up. You tired of can't sleep, tired of disappointments. So this step says to me, I can't no more, God. He can, you can, God. So I'm going to let you do it your way, through me. I can't, he can, so I let him. That's what this step is saying. Because we had to make a decision somewhere in our life to turn our lives around. We had to get to a point of we tired of being dishonest. We tired of lying to ourselves. We're tired of trying to be everybody's friend or trying to buy you to be my friend. I ain't talking about y'all. I'm talking about me. I always tried to buy somebody to be my friend. I always tried to give somebody to get a validation of you liking me. And now it's to the point you don't have to like me. Guess what? I like me. I'm to the point where I like me. So I don't need no more validation from nobody for you to like me or you to understand me, because I understand me. You should be the same way. You don't need nobody to validate you to make them think that you need them. You don't have to. Some people do that because they haven't understood peace yet. I got some friends now, they don't even know what peace means. They still clean, but they in the bundle of world of stupidness. Trying to figure stuff out. They clean, but you shouldn't be trying to figure stuff out and you've been clean for years. You still stuck in the same thing, only different was you ain't using. That's the only difference. And when I tell them that, and then some of them will get upset, well, don't call me. If you got 5 years, if you got 10 years, if you got 20 years, and you still struggling with the same situation you were struggling when you was using, toxic relationship, overthinking, tired of being hurt by the same person over and over again, only thing you did was stop using. And if you don't take heed to what you're doing, you'll be right back to using if you don't get rid of the problem. Sometimes we try to hold on to things that's stopping us from gaining what we need to learn. And sometimes people get in our way that we think they love us that really don't have our best interests. Only because of a word or only because you're my daughter or you're my mother. Sometimes people don't have our best interests, and it start with family. So I had to learn to let family be where they at and let them make their own decisions. I can't even go to my family no more and say, well, I don't think you should do this and I don't think you should do that. I turned my will and my life over to the care of God as I understood them. It ain't mine to try to correct nobody else's situation. Now, if you want to talk to me, that's fine. If you want to stay in that, that's fine. I stayed in it. I had to learn through the process of getting out, and I had to make some decisions and turn my life and my will over to the care. I love that part, says over to the care of God. He taking all our cares, all our problems. He taking every situation, every doubt. He taking all that, and we gonna put it in His care, and He gonna take care of it. He gonna work it out. He gonna fix it. But you got to turn it over. You got to make a decision. I'm tired of making the wrong decision. I'm tired of beating up on me. I'm tired of fighting with my own self. Have you ever just fought with your own self? Have you ever just played mind games with your own self? Have you ever wondered, are you sick? Are you dimensional? Are you crazy? Are you psycho? Have you ever been to that point? But I was. Talking to myself and answering myself. But once I learned to turn my will and my life over, and once we learn to give it to God, because He can, y'all. He can fix, He can control, He can manage everything. That's why we put the care in His hands, so we don't have to do all the hard work. I'm so glad I know a man that I ain't got to do all the hard work. I know a man that can fix it and change lives and fix lives and give you different dates of being clean and restoring people's back to health and restoring them back right to their mind. I wouldn't wish this disease on nobody. Not what I went through. Not the sleepless nights. Not what I went through. I thank God. I thank God that He's a man that can handle all our cares and take over our lives and be the head of our lives. I know He's the head of mine. I stopped trying to be the head of my life. I let God, because they said lives over to the care of God. And that means He's going to take care of us. And I tell you something, y'all. For any time you got doubt, give it to God. Anytime y'all going through some things and you don't see your way out, give it to God. Anytime that you think that you made a decision to turn your will in your life over to God and it didn't work, then I know you're wrong. Because if you really care it and give it to God, it's already been done. But you have to stay true to the game. You got to stay true to the connection that you have between you and God. God had took the things that I thought that couldn't be fixed or managed, and He showed me that He the man. And I respect that man. And I love this man because he have took me out of some dangerous songs. When we get to the lowest point of our lives, when we want to give up, we don't want to be here no more, and we all done, if not all, we all done went through that in some time of our lives that we wanted to give up. Let me tell you, don't give up. All you got to do, don't use. There's so many things you can do before you even go pick up. I love these steps, and I'm so glad that we came to this step to make a decision to do something for ourselves and put it in the hands of and the care of God and let Him fix it and let Him carry it. It's too big for us. Any problem is too big for us. We got to turn it over to God. And the crazy part, before I get over here, it ain't even crazy. The best part about it? He love it when we do that because He the man. He love it that we can take a whole bunch of problems and say, here, God, I'm done. I'm tired. That's what I learned to do. And that's why I tell you I found peace. It took me a long time to find peace, but I finally found peace. And I'm very particular who I let in my circle and in my life because I don't want to lose the peace that I have. It's so great to not worry and have to shed tears and don't know the answers and don't know why. But God always shows me why of everything. Sometimes, sometimes I have to steal away. Sometimes people don't see me for months or once a month or whatever. But see, God's still working on me because we get clean. No matter how many years we have, God's still working on you. Don't you ever think you exempt. Don't you ever think that you got it. You got to keep yourself at a certain level in your life to know that everything is going to be all right. So I love y'all. I love you. Thank all y'all, Miss Maddie, Durrell, Michelle, Dex, all y'all for coming on here, for the ones that come on later. And if ain't nobody told you they love you, tell them Miss Renee says she love you. And we're going to close out. God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, and the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. God bless y'all. Have a safe week. Stay encouraged. Do the will of God, and know that God loves you. Even when you don't love yourself, He'll still carry and love you enough to carry you. So God bless. Have a good coming week.